We are doing the first paragraph of this dream section. It quickly traces the major steps of evolution, starting from the void and arriving at man. It's a rapid survey of the evolution of consciousness and the appearance of the mental being. To begin with, of course, we had the indeterminate self, infinity as a point where there are no forms, no features, no determinates, and that is the state of the self from which things begin. Out of that point of infinity, or infinity as a point, start appearing the self or the being and the world energy, the dynamic aspect of the self. So here again we have the two aspects of the transcendental truth and consciousness force present in the infinite, which is a point in the void. You have got presence and power. You have got being and force. You have got truth and consciousness. These two are again present in the seed form in the void itself, and it is from that the creation begins. In the indeterminate formlessness of self, a creation took its first mysterious steps. We have seen already that line, that argument or that presentation. Mysterious is mysterious. We have no idea of it, how it has happened, how the creation out of the infinite as a point has emerged, come out. Of that there is no knowledge. There cannot be any knowledge of it either, because nobody was present there to see what was happening. It was the being himself who was doing it, and out of that the first step towards creation took place. Now, how that creation appears? It appears first with the emergence of the being who looks at the inconscient vast with an element of consciousness. The emergent being, the emerging being out of that infinity as a point, looks at the cosmic vast with a certain consciousness, vast, the cosmic vast, which is not aware of itself at all. See? And it is there that the world energy, the Shakti, the power, the presence and power, the other part of it, the power, the Shakti, is working for what? Shaping a universe out of the emptiness, out of the inane, out of the nothingness. It is she who is shaping the universe, because for her the substance, the matter, the existence is there available. She is given raw material in the form of existence, and it is that raw material she utilizes to give forms and shapes and things like that, and brings out a universe, shaping a universe out of the inane. So that is the first step which has occurred. You have got the indeterminate self, then you have got the being looking at the inconscient past, then you have got the consciousness force, or what he calls here the world energy, working out on the substance and bringing out a universe. Now, the story, the narration, the development, the sequence, how the process happened is being elaborated in the same section, in the same paragraph. You see, the next step is in fragmentary beings. She grew aware. She means world energy, consciousness force, Shakti. She has produced small finite beings, and in each one she is now becoming aware of things. In fragmentary beings, she grew aware a chaos of little sensibilities gathered round a small ego's pinpoint head. In it, a sentient creature found its poise. It moved and lived, a breathing, thinking whole. That is the first step. That is what she has achieved. She has created, shaping a universe. So how she is shaping the universe? This is now being elaborated here. A chaos of little sensibilities. It is out of the chaos that things are now getting formed. A kind of an order is being prepared. Now, chaos is a very powerful concept in Greek philosophy. It is out of the chaos that the creation has come out. Out of the chaos has come out the cosmos. That is the notion of the Greek thinkers. Chaos is the infinity of space, of formless matter. Matter is there, substance is there, but it has no form. It is something like a raw material without any substance, without content. Supposed to have preceded the existence of the ordered universe. What we see as the ordered universe, before that was this chaos, this formless infinity, this formless matter. These were the things which are present before the ordered world came out, and it is that which is being elaborated here. A chaos of little sensibilities gathered round a small ego's pinpoint head. Ego is a small little point. Around that ego, things are getting gathered. They are getting formed. They are kind of getting accumulated around it, so that a kind of a structure is formed. And it is that structure which will give a character, a personality, a quality to a particular object. It is that is the shape which is being taken place out of chaos, out of the infinity of space, out of the formlessness of matter. A small little point is formed, the ego point, and it is around that ego point things are getting gathered. In fragmentary being, she grew aware. Because of her, she is a consciousness force. So in that small little being, that point, she is becoming aware, conscious of things, so to say. A chaos of little sensibilities. She may not have full knowledge of it, but she has a feeling, she has a perception, she knows what is happening. She is kind of aware of things now happening. Gathered round a small ego's pinpointed, in it a sentient creature found its poise. It moved and lived, a breathing, thinking whole. So that is the sweep of her action already. She has gathered around that ego point something, formed a creature, and he is breathing, he is living, and he is also now capable of thinking. So a certain kind of a progress has already been made by her. In fragmentary beings, she grew aware, a chaos of little sensibilities gathered round a small ego's pinpoint head. In it, a sentient creature found its poise. It moved and lived a breathing, thinking whole on a dim ocean of subconscious life. That is the next step now, subconscious life. Below the awareness, what is happening in that ocean, in that water, that jivana, water flow, something is happening now. What is happening? On a dim ocean of subconscious life, a formless surface consciousness awoke. The outer personality, the surface consciousness, because it is of the ego's self, its awareness is only on the surface of things. It cannot go into the depth of matter, into the depth of things, and see what is there behind it. So it is that kind of an awareness has come here. On a dim ocean of subconscious line, a formless surface consciousness awoke. A stream of thoughts and feelings came and went. A stream of thoughts and feelings came and went is a perfect iambic line. A stream of thoughts and feelings and came and went. The beat is short, long, short, long, short, long, constant. A foam of memories hardened and became a bright crust of habitual sense and thought, a seat of living personality, and recurrent habits mimicked permanence. So that is the next step which has already been taken by this world energy, because she is the one who is shaping a universe. The work is the work of nature, lower nature, world energy, Prakriti. She is doing all these things. Prakriti's job is to give form, shape, bring out something. Purusha, being, who is quiescent, who is simply sitting there, is simply providing her the matter, the substance, the existence, the support. But the entire unfoldment is the job of Prakriti, and this is what she is doing here. So first she has created a pinpoint ego, then she has created a personality which can flow in time and space. A stream of thoughts and feelings came and went. Now this is a very beautiful phrase. Shebendhu was talking earlier of chaos, which speaks of the Greek philosophy of the creation. Out of chaos the universe came, the order came. Out of chaos came the cosmos. Cosmos means ordered thing. What is chaos? Chaos is the thing which breeds life. What is cosmos? What is order? It breeds habits, forms, structures, habits. So it is that which is now being built here in terms of habit. But these habits are now in the form of a stream of thoughts. Now the stream of thoughts is a modern phrase. It is not the Greek phrase at all. It is a modern connotation. It is a modern connotation. Actually, the origin of the phrase is stream of consciousness. It is that which is given by a psychologist, William James, in 1890. He gave this phrase, the stream of consciousness. So Shebendhu was very aware of the modern terminology, and he has used it most aptly in this context. In fact, in literature, there is a whole way of looking at things in the form of a stream of consciousness, weaving back and forth in space and time. That is what happens in the stream of consciousness. The novels, the fictional creations, the literary creations based on the stream of consciousness move back and forth in space and time, jumping from one to the other immediately. So that is what is happening here. On a dim ocean of subconscious life, a formless surface consciousness awoke. A stream of thoughts and feelings came and went. A foam of memories hardened and became a bright crust of habitual sense and thought, a seed of living personality, and recurrent habits mimicked permanence. So what has been created here has become a habit. As I said, order breeds habits. Cosmos means a certain kind of a habit. So habits I got formed. Now the task is to change habits, to change from a given frozen structure to something more dynamic, more fluid, more supple. And that is the whole problem of the new creation. Instead of getting stuck with habits, whereas they can be made dynamic and more rhythmic and more powerful, you see. So that is what is going to happen here. But at the moment, in the early stages of creation, we are at the stage of habits. Order breeds habits. This is the condition here now. Now, first we have therefore the material formation. Then we have the stream of consciousness, the flow of life, jivana, as we call in the Indian language. Jivana means water which is flowing, a stream of consciousness. That is happening. So after life comes again what? Mind. And what happens here? Mind nascent labored out a mutable form. It is mind which is giving form to things here. Labored, and it has built a form. It built a mobile house on shifting sand, a floating isle upon a bottomless sea. So the sea has no depth, and on that there is a mobile house. It is floating from place to place like an isle. That is the creation of mind. In other words, there is no form, structured presence there at all. Mind nascent labored out a mutable form. It built a mobile house on a shifting sands, a floating isle upon a bottomless sea. So that is the next step which has taken place already. In fact, this is interesting to note that this word energy we have seen here at first appeared a dim, half neutral tide of being emerging out of infinite not, out of infinite nothingness. The word energy has brought out something. Now this is again having its echo in the Greek philosophy. Out of chaos, which is taken as a knot, out of that word energy has produced this thing. But at the same time, there is another line of argument. Can anything come out of nothing? There is nothing. Can something suddenly appear there? Where from it will appear? How it will appear? That becomes a kind of a mental challenge. Out of nothing, how can something appear at all, you see? Ex nihilo, that is the phrase used. Ex nihilo, out of nothing. Can something come? Well, it seems that is what this world energy is doing. Out of nothing. Infinite not. Out of that, a being is emerging, a creation is coming out because of this world energy. How is it possible? That becomes the question, you see. See, for instance, there is nothing, there is a void. How does matter appear out of nothing? In matter there is nothing else except matter. How does in matter then life appears? How can what is not present in matter appear at all? Matter has no life in it, still it is producing life. Same thing again further, you have got matter, life. There is no mind there, it's only a vital force, vital energy, vital movement, vital creation. How does mind appear again where it is not present? In life there is no mind. Then how does mind appear out of it? In other words, each step, matter appearing out of the void, life appearing out of matter, mind appearing out of life, is as if an act of coming, emerging out of nothing, out of the void, ex nihilo. Now this is something which is not acceptable to a certain line of philosophy, and it is perfectly understandable. If there is nothing out of that, how can anything appear? Not only that, if there is only nothing, why should first appear matter and then appear life and then appear mind? Why can't suddenly out of nothing mind appear or life appear without the appearance of mind, without the appearance of matter? That could be a question. If it is something like that, then anything should appear anytime, anywhere. So that becomes a confusion then. That becomes a challenge to the logic of creation out of the void. But this particular aspect Sri Aurobindo has presented in great detail in the Life Divine, and his thesis is, well, it is not a creation out of nothing. It is not ex nihilo. The creation is not out of nothing. Actually, that void is something which is full of all these presences of matter, of life, of mind. All these things are automatically fully present. That void is a pregnant void containing all these elements in it, and it is they, one by one, are emerging. The way in which they entered into the void, it is in that way they are coming out successively. Out of the void, first matter, then life, then mind. So that is how the creation is present. Because the being is present there. The presence is there, and also the power is there. In the void, it is not a total emptiness, nothing of that kind. It is because nothing can exist, really speaking. So basically it is the presence of the presence and power in the void which is now giving rise to this creation. So this is not something which is happening out of nothing. It is not ex nihilo. That is what we can keep on asserting like that. In fact, that is the whole description here. That's the whole purpose of this presentation here. Mind, nascent, labored out a mutable form. That is what he says. First, that is what is happening here, mutable form. It looked around, it built a mobile house on shifting sands, a floating isle upon a bottomless sea. So that is the third step which has happened here. We have infinite naught, we have got chaos of sensibility of life, we have got surface consciousness, we have got pinpoint ego, we have got a conscious being, we have got appearance of life, we have got mind. Now what happens here at this point? A conscious being was by this labor made from matter, life, mind. A conscious being, man, has appeared on the scene. A conscious being was made by this labor. It looked around it on its difficult field, in the green, wonderful and perilous earth. It hoped in a brief body to survive, relying on matter's false eternity. This conscious being is hoping to exist forever, and it has taken matter as the base. Relying on matter's false eternity, it thinks that it can live on and on and on forever. Not only that, it felt a Godhead in its fragile house. Although this house is floating from place to place, it is brittle, it can break any moment in any way. It felt a Godhead in its fragile house. That element of conscious being is feeling that thing. It felt a Godhead in its fragile house. It saw blue heavens, dreamed immortality. So that is the big advance, it has already taken place. This conscious being which has appeared is seeing blue heaven, is seeing dreamed immortality. Will that happen? That is another matter. But it must happen. That is what it is going to say, assert. In fact, the whole purpose of this narration is, all right, if these stages have already occurred, matter, life, mind, a being seeing blue heaven, dreaming immortality, why not that also? That is a kind of a natural, logical argument to extend the development of things which have already occurred. It felt a Godhead in its fragile house, it saw blue heaven, dreamed immortality. So Savitri, in her dream state, is already seeing the prospects of future of immortality, of the blue heaven appearing here in the process of this evolution which has taken so far, which has occurred so far here, you see. So that is what the dream is disclosing to Savitri already, and it is a big thing which has already happened in her awareness of the past leading to the future.